What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Aaron B. So I got a special guest for y'all, VP of Off the Ball Network, host of Up in Flames podcast, my guy Mo Murphy. How's it going, Mo?
What's going on, boss? We were supposed to do it yesterday. Um, I had to work a little late, but we was able to turn around and make it happen today. A little bit later than normal, or a little bit later than planned, but we here. We
Yeah,
here.
that's my fault. I'm a little late, but
All
it's all
good.
good.
We're here.
Yes, sir. That's all that matters. So we're gonna just before we get into like deep into it, I know we had a little training camp injury a couple days ago with Chim, Udoga got carted off with a hyperextended knee. So we're kind of getting thin on that inside on the offensive line, and we don't have Zach Martin in camp. But when it comes to Zach Martin's pretty much set on this team. But do you think they need to get this contract thing done, or is it just like they just like being in the limelight with the Joneses?
Nah, I think we need to trade him.
You think we need to trade him?
Yep, 100%. And I'm gonna tell you like this:
Okay,
I'm all for players getting paid, 100%.
maybe.
But when Zach Martin got the bag, he was the highest paid player at his position. I don't believe in outperforming your contract. I just don't. Like if I sign you for 5 years, 100 mil, that $20 million made you the highest paid player at your position. We're this is the NFL, NBA as well. Next man gets paid a little more. So okay, you pay. Yeah, there's 4 or 5 guys getting paid more than you. You got 2 years left on your deal. If you don't want to play, bro, I think you got to trade him. Like I'm not paying him. He's aging. He's still elite, bro. He's elite. He's going to the Hall of Fame. He's great for the team. We do need him. But if it's about money, bro, you just paid Diggs. You got CD coming up. You talking about you in contract extensions with Dak. Don't know what that number would be. Don't really care about predicting that number. Then you talking about Michael Parsons. You know we giving him the bag. We paid Malik Hooker. Not paid him a lot of money, but you know what I'm saying? We got a lot of
Good money.
younger pieces that we about to have to pay and build and all that. And we know we can attack the O line very quickly in the draft and free agency come next season. We can make an acquisition this year. Bro, I think if you're not gonna pay him and he really is adamant on not playing, bro, I think you trade him. But if he comes back, you welcome him back with open arms. But I really think you gotta trade him, bro. And I know that sounds crazy, and Cowboys fans will probably kill me for that, but I'm just saying, like, you don't pay him for the next 4 to 5 years knowing he's aging. Yes, he's earned every bit that we would give him, but we gave him a nice hefty contract. And I don't believe if you sign for 5 years, 100 million, I don't really believe in outperforming your contract. The only people I will is probably like rookies, like second or third round that ain't really getting their money. They become superstars very quick. Like, okay, you outperform your contract. But outside of that, bro, when you sign and you're the highest paid player at your position, you know the next man gonna eat. 2-3 years from now, if there's enough guys at your position, they're gonna get paid a little penny more than you. So I don't might just have to trade him, bro. Don't let this drag through camp and through the season, bro.
Yeah. I think honestly it's all about that agent talking in his ear, like you're the best guard. We need to try to get you all this money and everything. But when it comes deep down, you're getting paid well, but I know you're not getting paid what you think you should get paid, but you're getting older, and there's other guards that are like that I think. I don't think who's the number one paid guard, but he's a lot younger.
I'm not sure, but he got paid
Yeah,
his highest value though when he signed the contract. So saying you're not getting paid what you want to be paid, like you are getting paid what you signed for when you got paid what you wanted to be paid. You got 2 years left on your deal. You ain't got no leverage, bro. Like I understand that there comes a point where do right by players can mess up a lot that you got going on. We got some young guys that we're gonna have to keep around for the long haul. We kind of have a core. And Zach Martin is part of that win now. Like he's part of right now. But 2-3 years down the line, like he may be still elite. He might be. Or he might be old and on his way to retirement and having a Hall of Fame career. And that's very well could happen as well. But he has value. He's an offensive lineman, bro. Like I'm not saying you get multiple first round picks and them, but you get something that's gonna really help you later on down the line for trading him if you did. If it's about money and you're not budging. Now, if Jerry Jones is willing to play this waiting game, but then budge, then hey, budge and so be it. But if you're not budging and Zach Martin not budging, and you just trade him and you get that distraction out of that, and he's not being a distraction. He's not loud about it. Like he's not there. We all know it. That's all we know. Like that's it. Zach Martin ain't going on a podcast tour talking about it. He want more money. He's not there. If it's a distraction, they're creating it as a distraction because outside of that, like it's not really. He's not wreaking havoc pitching about how he want more money. So, but I would say like, bro, there's a world where I would trade Zach Martin. There is a world where I would trade Zach Martin.
You brought up some good points. Like you could look into trading him, but you got to look into like who's going to be the next guy up for that right guard position because that's a big spot you need to fill in because that offensive line.
You gotta figure that out. Yeah. This is where you figure that out. Training camp, preseason, first couple weeks of the season. You know, there's the running joke that the season don't start till week 4. Like the real season don't start because everybody getting their legs back under them, getting the live action or whatever. So, I mean, this is where hey, next man up, right? That's where the phrase come from. This is where hey, if somebody don't want to be here because of money, next man up, and we figure out the replacement. And if we do, it's probably not, bro. To say that we're gonna replace a future Hall of Fame guard, I'm not gonna say that. But if we can find a way to lessen the blow from his production, then you're winning in that standpoint. Especially if you're able to trade him and get some future assets or something right now that somebody else is looking to offload and would take a Zach Martin and he'd easily go to plenty of Super Bowl contenders that needed an upgrade for offensive line, New York Jets, would probably be interested in Zach Martin's services. And they got some young pieces. We're not getting none of their star players. I'm not saying that, but they got some young guys and a couple little, mid-round picks that we would probably take for a Zach Martin. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, they would definitely try to give something when it comes to the Jets because they definitely need some offensive line help. Thinking you got Aaron Rodgers and he's going to basically a downgrade when it comes to the offensive line. But we're not here to talk about the Jets. But our next thing is like our padded practice standouts. Who really stunned out in padded practice this training camp?
Who do I expect to stand out?
Guys that you expect to stand out, or guys that you notice like, okay, these guys are really stepping up in practice.
Is it unfair to say the guys that I expected to show out in practice are showing out? Like, is that a cop out? Like,
no, it's not a cop out.
Micah Parsons is making everybody better. Trayvon Diggs is showing why you paid him, almost $20 million a year. CeeDee Lamb is making some immaculate plays. Like, I say if there's a guy who through camp and through the clips and through the reports, I mean, Deuce Vaughn looked pretty good out there. So that's nice to see. I don't know, bro. I think so much of the focus out of training camp has been Dak. And it's been Dak, and it's been Dak, and it's been Dak, and Dak, and this, and that, and that, and Dak. Like, that's it. Like, you're not really, and then boom, pops up. All right, CeeDee Lamb made an incredible catch. Dak, 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 Dak. Micah Parsons almost ended our whole season by falling into Dak's knee. Dak this, Dak that, Dak. So this season, you could tell from training camp, I'll say this. There's some guys that have showed up, but you could tell the pressure is all on Dak. I think everybody expects this team to be uber successful, but I think it's riding on Dak's back. And that's from what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing, all that stuff, bro, that's what I think it is. And I think that's what the media is trying to make it focused on. I think that's what the world is making it focused on. And I think at the end of the day, when you look at this roster top to bottom, it's a top-notch roster. The question you have is, can their quarterback lead them to the promised land? And so, bro, all the pressure's on Dak. Don't let him get a contract extension with a nice ransom of, he ain't going to get Herbert or Burrow money. When Burrow signs, maybe not Lamar or Hurts, but he's going to get right up under that. And then the people going to be like, oh, damn. Like, now, if he signs, is there really any pressure? If he signs a contract extension, is there really any pressure on Dak at that point? I'm secure for long term, whether I suck or not in the playoffs. So who cares?
Because he's not going to try to sign an extension now. Like you were saying, there's quarterbacks that need to get a contract, and he's like, okay, let me try to get in that blend and try to get that contract. And at the end of the day, he's going to get paid. you can complain about how you don't like Dak, but you're like he's gonna be basically gonna be a Cowboy lifer then in
I love Dak. Like, and I will ride or die for Dak. And I put my thing is this, bro. If Jimmy G can reach a Super Bowl, then why can't Dak? Like that's my, will he win? Maybe not. Do I think he can win one? Yeah, I think he can win one. He's in that class though. I think Kirk Cousins could win a Super Bowl. I think if everything's right, I think he's the guy. He's good enough. He's really good, and if everything's right around him, he can win. And I think right now everything's right around him. Do I think they win this year? No. But if there was a year for Dak and the Cowboys to get it done, I, you got to do it now. Like while the NFC is probably the weakest it's been since Dak has taken over as quarterback for the Cowboys, we've probably had the most loaded. This is probably the most loaded roster we've had from top to bottom since Dak has been the quarterback. And on top of that, we take advantage of we're arguably what second or third best team walking into the season right now. One of the second best roster on paper.
Mhm.
Like the pressure is on Dak, I will say, but I love Dak, and I'm riding with Dak, and I think Dak gonna do it. I don't. When I say do it, I don't mean Super Bowl. I just mean he gonna perform well more than just in the first round because he did it last year against the Bucks. Turned around, kind of stunk it up against the 49ers. But I think we'll watch this team, and if we fall short, we won't look at the lack of performance from Dak. Sorry to make this a Dak Prescott show, but that's what
No,
training camp has been at this point.
and that's the major talking point when they talk about the Dallas Cowboys. I don't care what four letter sports network that's going to say something. They're going to bring up Dak, and I don't in any conversation. So we, as Cowboy fans, we're allowed to talk about Dak. Like he's been one of the better quarterbacks we had. I love Tony Romo, but when it comes to Dak, I'm like I'm riding with him.
I love Dak. Like like Dak's a top 10 quarterback. He can win you a lot of games. He's yet to prove that he can win you a Super Bowl, obviously. Um, but he's still young. Like, I mean, Dak's what? About to
Just
be
like
30?
he
Just
just
turned
turned
30.
up. Yeah, that's young for a quarterback.
Bro, when you're talking about the way these quarterbacks are playing into their late 30s, 40s, I ain't saying everybody gonna be Tom Brady, but at the same time, the way the quarterbacks are protected, I mean, you talking about he just turned 30. I say 6 to 8 years of top notch Dak, at least. I say, and whatever you consider top notch Dak is, but I think what we're getting right now, 6 to 8 years of that at least. And you talking about, I think he still could get a little bit better. I mean, you stop turning the ball over, boom, you got Dak easily a top 7, 8 quarterback. You take away the turnovers, so that's just the focus this year. I think, man, living in Dallas, bro, and working around a lot of guys who are Cowboys fans is so hearing it from like a lot of the fans, bro. They ready to flame Dak. Like they're putting this season on Dak. That's the feel around Dallas. Like you listen to Dallas radio, all that, bro. Around Dallas, the fire is under Dak's butt. Nobody else's. They ain't looking at nobody else but Dak.
It's just because of how loaded this roster, like we've been talking about. Like we picked up guys like a Brandon Cooks who really been standing out as a second option receiver in camp, and then you get a Gilmore as your CB2.
Bro, we got two top 7 corners.
Yeah,
We got two top 7 corners. Two of the top 7 corners in the NFL play for the Dallas Cowboys.
and we got him for a steal. We got him for like a fifth round pick from the Colts midday.
He
I
got
was at the gym of
washed
that.
because nobody was talking about him in Indianapolis, and then you go look at his win rate on deflections and all that. Bro, Stephon Gilmore was a top 5 corner last year, and nobody's talking about it because he was in Indy. Now he's in Dallas, and you're talking about is he better than Diggs? Maybe. He's a little bit older, but is he better than Diggs? Maybe. If he's better than Diggs, that's a great addition. If he's just as good as Diggs, great addition. And if Diggs is our best corner, still a great addition because we got two of the top 7 corners in the NFL.
Because if you think about it, last year, our second best corner that we knew of was Anthony Brown.
Trash.
Hey,
Trash.
but Deron Bland stepped up last year, and I think he's going to be another good. We got 3 really very good corners. We haven't said that in a long time. I can't even think of the last time we had.
And we got safeties on top of that. We got a good secondary this year. We got a really good secondary this year.
Yeah. And we've been begging for that for the longest. A good secondary. Yeah. We got players that can cover against tight ends. wide receivers. We got speed, size. Pretty much we got a plethora of like depth on this defense.
Don't get me too excited, man. You're gonna make me say my outlandish statement that everybody pushes me. I don't even be thinking about it, but you about to get me there. So don't get me too excited about
All right, I won't do it.
the season, boy.
Hey, you did remember? Was it like 2 years ago when we did that? Or was that NFC East trash talk or something like that? You popped
Oh,
up.
they got me. They had got me. I wasn't gonna say it, and then they just got to talking crazy, and I'm like, bro, you know what? We win in this, but I'm not doing that this year. I'm riding out with this team. I think we're gonna have a lot of success, and I can't wait to see what this success gonna be.
Yes, sir. So we had the discussion before the show, but we got what are the three players to watch in the preseason game? I know we're not going to see our starting 11, but if we're going to see those second or third string type of guys. Like who are some like a couple of guys that you got your eye on in this preseason?
Jalen Tolbert for sure. I think he has an opportunity to be wide receiver 4. Um, I think he's going to be important in the kick return and punt return game. As much as kick return isn't as valuable as it once was, back in the day, you have a Devin Hester and that could make or break winning a lot of games based on field position and maybe a couple touchdowns here or there throughout the season. But I think he's going to be looked at there and possibly being our wide receiver 4. I'm looking at Deuce Vaughn. I think Deuce Vaughn is a gadget guy. Bro, the man was elite at Kansas State. I understand the size. I get it. I understand the concerns, but the man was elite. Man was electrifying against Alabama in the bowl game. And I know, like, we praise Alabama for putting in these elite players, right? So when guys have elite performances against these elite schools, like, where do we not value that? Is like I said, I get the size, but he's a gadget guy. He's very similar to Darren Sproles, another Kansas State alumnus, that had a good NFL career, was able to make some plays, and so I'm looking at Deuce Vaughn, and then if I go on the defensive side, I guess we're probably the same on this. Mozzie Smith. I guess we're looking at Mozzie. You got to look at your first round pick. See what he going to do. See how he looks. He probably going to play. I know Jacksonville plan on playing their starters, at least for the first 2 or 3 series. So if Mozzie Smith step out there, I doubt Micah Diggs or Gilmore. Like, I know we got a few guys not playing. So you're looking at like Mozzie Smith to see how he looks them first couple series, since I'm assuming our first round pick going to start the preseason game with our starter sitting. How he looks against that Jacksonville Jaguars offensive line. Is he able to make some plays? Is he able to make an impact? I'm not looking for 3 or 4 sacks, or you don't have to overly impress me. I know how to watch football and understand, like, okay, this guy's going to make an impact on our defense. We got a sack machine in Michael Parsons. We got another quarterback pressure guy in DeMarcus Lawrence. Can you plug up that middle and help us with where we really struggle, which was stopping the run? So I'm interested to see what he could do, throughout this preseason, but especially, the game against the Jaguars.
Yeah, because when it comes to one check, if you get 1 or 2 sacks a season, that's fine because all you're doing is clogging up with that center and guard. And so, like a Michael Parsons or Sam Williams or Demarcus Ware, not Ware, I meant Lawrence.
Hey, Ware just got inducted into the Hall of Fame. It's okay.
Yeah, it's like the Marcus thing, but so they can get free to get those sacks and then just get those stops. And we haven't had a one tech. We have Hankins. That's another good quality one tech to have. Just now you have a rotation of defensive linemen. And oh yes sir. So, and that kind of leads into our next one. 3 players that need to step up in the offseason. Who do you think?
You really ask some difficult questions with knowing that our team, because okay, we got some players to watch. We got the young cats, right?
Yes, sir.
But who we expect to step up is CD. I know CD was really good, but CD had some drop passes last year. And I'll point to, bro, I forget who he played, but I remember the sequence. So CD, Dak hit him on stride, on the money, drops the pass. Against the Giants. Matter of fact, it was against the Giants.
It was.
On stride, boom, drops it. Turns around. If not the next play, 2 plays later, makes an impossible catch behind the Giants, one-hand catch behind the Giants' back, the cornerback's back. So I need CD to be consistent in catching the ball. He's had a case of the drop seas a little bit. And so I think CD need to step up and become an elite receiver. I mean, this is a guy now that, and I know we ain't gonna dive down that rabbit hole. That's for another show. That hopefully before the season start, we can talk about whether it's on tacos and touchdowns or up in flames. They rated CD Lamb better than Jamar Chase on the NFL top 100. Do I think that is true? No, I don't. I think that is the most outlandish. That's one of the biggest ones that I look and I'm like, damn. Like it ain't even the gap of where they're ranked. It's the fact you got CD Lamb ranked. I don't care if it's one spot. CD Lamb is not better than Jamar Chase. But if he's going to get put in that light and get voted by the players in that light, then I think we need CD Lamb to step up and be like an elite wide receiver this year. Like a truly elite wide receiver. I think, 14, 1,500 yards, 10 to 12 touchdowns is a fair expectation for a guy that we're talking about. We're not talking about, but the NFL top 100 says, players say, is better than Jamar Chase. So I think CD Lamb, I think he needs to step up. Obviously, Dak. Like you can always point to the quarterback. When your quarterback's not Patrick Mahomes or certain guys, like, yes, you could say your quarterback needs to step up. So obviously, Dak. But I'm going to throw a wrench at you. And you said players, right?
Yeah, players.
Move off of players, though. Mike McCarthy.
Oh.
Mike McCarthy needs to step up. He took control of the play call.
Mm-hmm.
So now he needs to step up and put his money where his mouth is. You fired your offensive coordinator. You laid some blame. You laid the blame game a lot on Kellen Moore. Took a little bit of pressure. Hey, the offense was stale, this, that, and the other. Mind you, kind of got fired from Green Bay because you had this elite quarterback in Aaron Rodgers, this all-time talent, and your offense started to become stale and wasn't catching up for the times of the type of talent that you had. So if you're going to do the moves you've made and fully trusting in Dak, which you should fully, but I think a lot of pressure's on Mike McCarthy to make this offense because I know there's a lot of reasons why people have, and they can hate or whatever, but like this Cowboys offense, when Dak has been on the field, has been easily a top 10 offense in the NFL, pretty consistent. I understand the playing from behind and this, that, and the other and putting up, meaningless numbers, but statistically on paper, there's been a top 10 offense. So Mike McCarthy, if you feel like the problem was being top 10, being the 10th best offense in the NFL wasn't good enough, then you got to push us to that 7, 6, 5. So I am looking at Mike McCarthy like, okay, you got what you wanted. Like, your job might be on the line. You done did everything to kind of put your job on the line, bro. So let's see what you made of. We talk about the players, but I think coaching, we know Dan Quinn going to have an elite defense. He just had one last year, and we seemed like we got better. We added a couple pieces. We kept all the pieces that were key on us having an elite defense. We drafted defensively in the first round. So we're adding to make, Dan Quinn going to do what he do. But we're looking at the offense. I think we go as far as the offense goes, minus injuries, take away any major injuries, and that's what every team would say. But I think just the focus this year, just period, on stepping up is the offensive side of the ball because we held the 49ers. We held them down defensively, and we didn't score enough points at the end of the day. Like, our defense did what they were supposed to do to give the offense an opportunity to win the game. If they do that, we go and play Philly in the NFC Championship. Maybe we lose, maybe we win, who knows. But I think just the pressure is on the offense, period. Dak, CD, and Mike McCarthy is like, they all three got to step up and be elite. Like, not the best in the game or nothing, but they got to be elite. All three of them got to walk off, and we got to be like Mike McCarthy, borderline elite. Dak played like an elite quarterback, and CD Lamb played like an elite wide receiver.
Yeah. So do you think that for Mike McCarthy to keep the job, would he have to at least get to the NFC Championship, or if he end up with the same thing like last year, you think he still keeps his job?
It depends on who they face in the second round. It depends on, now, if you win your division, let's just hypothetically say, just to paint a picture for Mike McCarthy job security. If you get that first round bye and you lose in the second round, you're gone. Like, and I don't care who you face, whether it's Philly or San Francisco, it doesn't matter. If you're the best team in your conference and you don't win a playoff game, he'll be gone. Now, if Philly wins the division, which is also the other likely scenario, we go and play, I don't know who people think, we'll just say the Packers. And we beat Jordan Love and the Packers the same way we beat the Bucs last year. And we go and play Philly. We'll just say, I wouldn't even say Philly. We go play San Francisco again. We got to win or you're fired. Like 3 years in a row losing to the same team, bro, you got to go. But if you go and play Philly and it's a dog fight and everybody at the end of the day, somebody got to win, somebody got to lose. But I think it's just all about matchups and how it shakes for Dallas depends on like evaluating Mike McCarthy's job.
I feel you. Yeah, I think if they lose to the 49ers in the third time in a row, I don't think he's gonna keep his job. He's not in that security like how what's his name, Jason Garrett was for them 10 years. Like he's basically, if he doesn't get to that next step, I think he'll be gone. I hope not, but it just his security is kind of
Do you
like,
really hope not? Like, do you really like you are satisfied with Mike McCarthy? Like, you want to go with him for the next 3 to 5 years?
it's not that I'm satisfied, but I'm trying to see who would be the next person in line. Would it be Dan Quinn or another outside face?
I'd upgrade Dan. I won't say it'd be an upgrade, but I would move. I think the most likely scenario if Mike McCarthy, if our defense is elite, Mike McCarthy gets fired. I think the easiest option is to put the guy who everybody's familiar with and knows puts elite talent and elite schemes, at least defensively. And then you just start evaluating who's the next offensive coordinator. And then you know what you do? You give a guy his first opportunity in the NFL to be an offensive coordinator. You bring him from college. You call him. You call that 614 number. You call Ryan Day down there, good old Ryan Day down there out of Ohio State, and be like, "Hey, you trying to be offensive coordinator down here in Dallas? It's a little bit different weather, a little different expectations, but you know, you might call Ryan Day and give him his first offensive coordinator job."
Well,
That's me talking from a biased opinion at the end of the day.
I know it's a biased opinion, but
And
Jerry
they
Jones
better
got
not
that
call
bad.
Ryan Day. They better not call Ryan Day because then that ruins my interest in what I got with Ohio State. So they better not. But I'm just saying it'd be a possibility.
That'd be interesting one. Like I wouldn't mind Dan Quinn as the head coach if it comes to we fire Mike McCarthy because you still keep that guy, and then you probably have Joe Witt as the defensive coordinator who's been around the Dan Quinn defense, so it wouldn't really be like a big.
Quinn would still be calling the defense as a head coach. Like he still
I
would
see
be in
that.
charge of the defense, and he would get himself either up and coming offensive coordinator that he could trust running the offense, or just a strong, proven offensive coordinator that he feel like, okay, you got to hold the offensive down. I'm a defensive guy, and I got to hold down the defense in the head coach's spot. So he gonna have to get himself a solid, offensive coordinator, which I think he would do, whether it's a young up and coming guy with first opportunity but a great offensive mind, or it's a veteran guy who's proven that he can have an elite offense with the talent that we will have next year. Because no matter what happens this year, like next year, we're still gonna have some pretty elite talent. Like our roster is gonna look fairly the same next year, and we'll be having the same conversation next year if we fail. So we kind of set up for the next few years to be pretty good.
Yeah, that's definitely true. But lastly, my next thing is record prediction. What are you don't have to have an exact number. Just kind of like if you're saying like this number is the lowest and the highest is this number. I know I'm
No,
asking
you're
stuff
not.
like
You're asking me to stick to my guns right now, and because this is being recorded and this is gonna pop back up later, I know it is. We're going 12-5. We're going 12-5. No more, no less. We go 12-5. I think the second game against Philly will probably. I think Philly's around the same. I could see us going 13-4, but I'm going 12-5. I think the second game against Philly will probably determine who wins the division. So 12-5 either gets us. We either win the division or we're 12-5 because Philly done went 13-4, 14-3, and we're the fifth seed in the playoffs. We play on the road against, I don't know, the Lions or the Packers or
yeah,
the
yeah,
whatever, or the Saints or whoever. We play on the road. We got a road playoff game in the first round against a team that clearly ain't better than us. We win that game. We go in the second round. We win that game. We're going to the NFC Championship. We're going 12-5, and we will reach the NFC Championship. From there, I don't know. But I think we're NFC Championship bound for sure. Like I almost locked that in 12-5 NFC Championship appearance. And then, win or lose, like I like us to get there, get over the hump and get there. And then from that point on, full blown fandom, baby, take us to the Super Bowl. But I'm gonna say 12-5 when we reach the NFC Championship. I'm not gonna call a prediction for what the NFC Championship look like.
I think if we get to that NFC Championship, I'm having all the Dallas Cowboys fans. We're gonna have a whole big podcast. This,
Oh, I'm gonna be in Dallas.
you
I'm
are.
nuts if we go to the NFC Championship game.
I was about. You gonna try to catch some games this year?
I don't know, dog. The way my check-ins and my savings set up,
I
and the
feel
way them Cowboys ticket prices is, boy, I'm gonna catch me a game. But then I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm just a watch at the crib, bro. Like when I look and be like, okay, because I'm gonna go with the wife. Let's just say spend $700 on 2 tickets to go with the wife. Hopefully, have somebody watch the kids. Man, I'd rather buy a whole 85-inch TV and cook some, have the wife make some wings or whatever and just chill and watch the game as opposed to spending 700 for 3 hours. That's crazy.
yeah, it is. And
I love
those,
the Cowboys. I'm gonna catch a game at some point, but bro. At the same time, I'm at my adult phase, and I'm about man 700 for 3-4 hours of fun and this and that. And you talking about just getting to the game? Ain't talking about parking? Ain't talking about eating? I ain't talking about a couple beers or nothing like that. Like, man, I'd rather buy me a couple bottles of liquor, sit there on a Sunday, watch the game, good food going, big screen TV cracking. Like that's what I'd be on.
I feel you. I've been to a Cowboy game because I got free tickets, but when it came to the food, I think a burger and fries cost me like 25.
Take 25 nuts.
And then parking, you looking at between 20 and up. I'm not like 20 is not going to even get you a good stop. You got to have to walk almost a mile to the stadium, and then you pretty much paying just to breathe and everything. So it's just like a once in a life experience, unless you're going like on a tour bus or you going on let somebody give you some tickets. It just it's crazy. It's a good experience, but it's just like man, your bank account's gonna look different.
That's what I'm saying. I'd rather just watch the game in the crib.
Let me catch up some comments before we end the show. From we got one from Shane West. Saints are going to the NFC Championship. They may win the NFC South, but I don't know about that one.
Well, if they go into the NFC Championship, we'll see them there.
Yeah,
That's the matchup. We'll see them there.
that'd be a fun one. Oh, there's the next one. Mo Murphy.
Dak and Blake Bortles, same number of playoff wins. He's a big Blake Bortles fan. For some odd reason, he loves Blake Bortles. He's ride or die with the Blake Bortles train. He can have that. I understand. Hey, same number of playoff wins. I think that might be false now. Don't Dak got 3?
Yeah, he got 3. I thought.
Dak beat no, Dak might only have 2. He beat Seattle and we beat Tampa. I think that's it. Yeah, Dak got 2. Blake Bortles won 2 in one season. So
Oh yeah,
he is correct, but I ain't worried about that. I ain't worried about it. That was an anomaly of a season. Blake Bortles won 2 playoff games off the back of Jalen Ramsey and that Jack Del Rio. Yeah, come on, man. Calais Campbell and all them. He won on the backs of them, man. Come on.
Yeah, everybody was talking about he was the weakest link in the whole.
He was. He was. Dak plays on that Jaguars team. They win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, nobody's saying Dak's the weakest link on that Jaguars team.
Yeah, they might be saying Dak the weak link on the Cowboys right about now, though.
Oh, it's just pressure of being if you're a Dallas Cowboy quarterback and you're not going to Super Bowl, they're going to say you're trash. You're the worst number 32.
Yeah.
That's just the sad part about these.
Baker probably better than Dak in people's eyes right now.
I done heard that before, and that's one of the most outlandish.
I'll fight somebody if they say that to my face.
They say it on Twitter, but I ain't heard it. I throw out stats and everything, and I'm not even a stats person.
They don't care. It's just hate. You put this star on the side of your helmet and you take snap under center, bro. You put yourself out there to be hated.
Yeah, that's basically it. You could just put on a shirt. Somebody's gonna say something. Post comments. I already had a video of one of my homies, a 49er fan, posted a video of Dallas Cowboy barbecue life with some Cowboys dancing and stuff like some what's it called, Broke Down Mountain stuff. I'm like, I just laugh at it at this point.
That's all you can do.
Yeah. But hey, I appreciate you, bro. Definitely got to get you on for another show. But before I let you go, I'm gonna give the floor to you where they can check you out and everything else.
Yeah, bro, I appreciate you for having me on. Check me out,
Sir.
Up in Flames. Any way you get your podcast, I'm about to record this weekend. I think me and Walker plan on bringing Phil Stormers back. I want to say Sunday. Tomorrow kind of obsolete, so I'll probably be recording Up in Flames on Sunday and recording Phil Stormers, bringing that back. So yeah, you can follow me at Mo_Cheese15 on Twitter, at Up in Flames Pod on Instagram. Follow Off the Ball Network, OTB_network on Twitter, Off the Ball Network on Instagram. Appreciate everybody for tuning in though. And hey, Aaron, appreciate you for having me.
Yes, sir. And if y'all trying to get into this podcast game, definitely Off Ball Network is looking for some people for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good one. Enjoy it this weekend. We got football. I know it's preseason football, but it's football. And thank God that we got it. Y'all have a good one.